again, welcome back. We're going to continue talking about React Native and the Stack Navigator. So far, we've got our Stack Navigator working with the two tabs, and but all of our code is in the same file here. So for best practice, we'd like to move these components to their own files. So I'm going to I'm just going to copy everything here, copy, make a new file, paste it, and then I'll save this as home screen.js, right? And it looks like I'm not using these dependencies here, so I'll delete those. And let's make sure that we export this as the default. And yeah, there we go. So we'll export home screen. And then we can import the home screen here. So I'm going to delete that and import home screen from home screen, right? And now let's do the same with the settings screen. So I'll just copy everything here. I just want to get the dependencies at the top so I don't have to write them all again. And then we'll make a new file, we'll paste it, we'll save this as settings screen.js. And then I don't need to import the home screen here, and it looks like these two dependencies are not required, right? So I'll delete those. And then let's make sure we export again. Okay, and then we can go back to app.js, and you know, I can delete all this stuff here, and then we'll just import settings screen from settings screen, right? And everything here seems to be working. I can get to the settings screen and the home screen, so this is great. And then it looks like, you know, VS Code is telling me that I'm not using these things here, so or just this line right here. So I think I'll delete it, right? And that cleans up our code a lot. Okay, so this is great. So that was the first part of the challenge from the end of the last video. Let's do the second part. So let's customize our screen. So I'm going to go to home screen here, and maybe I'll add a second text object here. I'll say welcome, you know, home, right? And then maybe this first one right here. You know, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to import the style sheet, right? So I'll get style sheet there, and I'll make a new style object. So let's do const styles. Wait, I gotta spell this right. Style sheet dot create. And you know, there's a bunch of styles here on the view. So let's make a container style for that. So let's do this. Let's put this here, and then I'm going to copy all of this stuff and put it here. And then here I can say styles.container. So that puts, I got home and welcome now. And then maybe for home, I'll make the home text really big and bold. So let's just call that home and say font size of, let's do 48, I don't know, right? And then over here, oh yeah, and let's do font weight bold too. So let's do font weight of bold, right? And let's apply that here so we can say actually, you know what? It's going to be the same as this one, except for the container, right? So why don't we just paste that and change that to home? There we go, boom. So that's looking pretty good. And why don't we do the same or similar modification to the settings screen? Maybe I'll just even copy this, right? And go into my settings screen here, paste it, and I'll need to make sure that I import style sheet up here. And then this guy right here, I can replace that because that's the same things that we have here. So why don't we say styles dot container, and this says home, which doesn't make sense now. Let's call this like heading. I don't know, right? And let's take a look. So I gotta pull up the settings screen here to make sure that things are working. I want to see it, so I'll say style equals, and then we'll do styles dot heading. There we go, right? So that looks pretty good. And maybe under settings here, we can have another text object here and just put some text in there, foobar, right? Maybe this settings object too, it's a little close to that text. Let's put a little bit of margin on it, maybe. Let's do margin of 20. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe that looks so good, I'm gonna go to the home screen and do the same thing. Sorry, I was working kind of fast there. I'm assuming we already did this, so you're aware of it, right? Because I did it in the previous video. So, and also, you know, I kind of want you to do it on your own and you know, come up with your own styles, right? So, because mine are not super exciting either. So that looks pretty good. I feel like this text is a little too small, right? You know. Anyway, let's move on, right? So, you know, you can feel free to style this however you want. You can set the background color, right? Okay, so what are we going to do next? So we've got the two tabs working, and we've worked through the challenges here. Okay, so what are we going to do next? Let's talk about icons, right? So icons are really important, especially on mobile. You know, screen size is small, you know, screen real estate is at a premium, and we need to communicate a lot in a small area. So what better way to do that than with pictures, right? And if you think about emojis, they do the same thing. Like they communicate a lot of ideas in a very small place, right? One character. So, you know, that's the one thing, like we need to have icons, right? The second thing is that, you know, screen sizes are different for different devices. So, you know, one mobile phone might have a smaller screen, another phone might have a larger screen. So the icons that you have are going to appear at different sizes on different devices, right? And they may appear in different sizes in different places in the same device. So an icon might appear on the settings screen at one side, but then on the tab bar, it might appear at another size. And then maybe on the home screen or the, you know, your desktop screen, right, it might appear at another size still, right? So, you know, and actually in the settings app, you know, it'll have another icon there. So oftentimes on mobile, you see icons at different sizes. So what we want to do, if possible, is use icons that are scalable, okay? So vector graphics provide a good solution to this, right? So if we can get icons that are vector graphics, that means they're scalable and they can be resized, okay? And there's a few libraries that we can use that provide these, right? So the library I'm going to choose here is called React Native Vector Icons, okay? And you can go check out their website here, right? So here's their website, Vector Icons, and it says you can install it on iOS, Android, OS 10. It also works for React Native. You know, they're kind of like, this is kind of a library that's built on top of icon bundles that are supplied by another person, right? So the icon bundles that the React Native vector icons work with are all of these different sets. So these are the designers. So like Ant Finance and Daniel Bruce and Alexander Medekin and Roman Shaman, right? And Cole Bemis, right? And, you know, Font Icons and, you know, Zerb, all these people. These are just groups that produce the icons, and then the code here is pulling those icons in and using them, right? So, you know, anyway, this gives you kind of an overview of how you're going to work with the React Native vector icons. And to see the actual icons that you're going to use, you can click on one of the links here. Like I'm going to use the Ion icon, so I'll click on this one, and it'll take me to Ion icons, and it shows me the icon set that they have. And you can search it here too. So if I want to get a home icon, I can search. Actually, I kind of like that as home, like I'm from Saturn, you know, right? But anyway, here's the home icon there. And then down here, it kind of shows you the code that you would use in the web. So if you're using this on the web with Ion, right? You could use it this way. We're going to use it a little bit differently, okay? What's important to us actually is the name right here. Home outline is what we want, okay? So we're going to get into that in a moment there, right? So let me actually close that. I have that open twice. So how are we going to use this? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the library. So I'm going to get this right here, npm install React Native Vector Icons, right? So let me go to my my terminal here. I'm going to have to stop the server for a moment there and install the vector icons. Okay, great. So that's good. And then I'm going to launch my my app again. And let me make sure that it's running. I always like to do this just to make sure that things are working. So it says success there, but I'm just going to refresh it just to make sure. So I'm going to go here and reload it. Okay, so that should be reloading. And now let's go get our notes here, right? Okay, so to use the vector icons, what you're going to do is you're going to import the vector icons here, right? So you'll get React Native vector icons, and then you'll name the icon set you're going to use. So if you're going to use the ant design set, you'll import the ant design. If you're going to import the ion icons, you'll import ion icons like this, okay? To use an icon, you're going to use the name here. You're going to say, you make a new component, you're going to say ion icons, and then you're going to say the name of the icon and the size, okay? Right, so you'll say the name and the size there, okay? So let's give it a try, and you can explore the icons here, right? We just kind of went through that, right? So here's a note. In some places, the name that you'll see doesn't match exactly the name that you need to use in React Native vector icons. It'll be slightly different. Like it'll look like this, but it might not say outline on the end, okay? So keep that in mind. Sometimes you'll use it and it'll give you an error. You'll see an error here and in the terminal. And you know, if it just says the name is incorrect, you'll see that, and you can look up the name in the error message sometimes, and it'll show you, it'll suggest some names for icon names that are available, right? So just keep that in mind. Like sometimes the name on the docs doesn't match the name here, okay, or the name that you need to use. So let's give it a try. So So what I'd like to do is, my challenge to you now is that you should add an icon to the home screen and the settings screen, okay? And then there's a stretch challenge here, is to add a button to one of these screens. So you just use the regular button component, add it to the screen here, and then add a button to that, okay? We're gonna add icons to the tab bar, so don't try and add an icon to the tab bar yet, because there's special instructions for that, right? And it's a little different. So why don't I let you do that, and then give that a try. Add a button here to settings, and then add an icon to settings, and then add an icon to home, okay? And then I'll go over it after, okay? So give that a try. You can stop the video, and that's your challenge, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, so how did you do? Okay, let's give it a try. So the first thing we need to do is we need to import the ion icons from React Native Vector Icons, right? So I'm going to go in here to my home screen, and I'll import the icon, right? And then next, what I want to do is I want to copy the code here, and then display my icon. So maybe I'll put the icon here. Now, you can put these icons like almost anywhere, okay? So you can put them, you know, inside a view, And you can also put them inside text. So I could also put the icon here inside the text object. Okay, so you can put them almost anywhere. I think that you can't have a component that is just the icon though. I think it has to be at least wrapped in a view. And it actually doesn't even make sense like by itself. So there we go. Hey, that's done. If we want to change the size, we can put the size here. Maybe I'll make the size 48, so it's bigger. And maybe that icon doesn't quite make sense for home, so let's try a home icon. So to do that, I'm going to go to the Ion Icons page and get the home icon, right? So this one says home outline. Okay, so notice it's hard to read at the bottom of this page here, but it says home outline. Okay, I can't bring this up any higher, right? But home outline is the name of the icon. So you'll notice here this one begins with iOS. So I'm going to change it to home outline, right? And so now I get the outline home. Now this is what I was talking about. The names here are slightly different. Sometimes we got to tack something onto the name or take something off. Okay, so that worked pretty good. Let's try the other one. I like that other Saturn icon, so I'm going to say planet outline. Let's borrow that, right? And I'm going to go to the settings screen and I'll add another icon, right? Oh wait, I need to import my icons first. So let's do this. Let's go to settings, import the icon, and then let's get our, Ion icon component here, and maybe I'll paste it above like this, right? So now in settings, it shows the home icon, but I want the planet outline. So I'm going to change home here to planet. And there we go, right? So that's pretty good. Second challenge for you, right? You can style these icons by setting the color, and you can add a style to them. It's just like styling the text, okay? So give that a try, right? Add a style to the icon and set the text. Okay, so how did you do? Let's try it together, right? So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to say, let's do icon. I just need a name, right? Let's set color, and let's make it, oh wait, I guess I can't do that. Let me do, I forgot, it's not the web environment. I'm going to do cornflower blue, and then I want to use this icon style on my icon up above. So I'll go to the icon here. Actually, maybe I'll put it on the end here. I'll do style equals, and then I'll do styles dot icon. And then we get the blue icon. So you can style the home icon also. Maybe I'll set the home icon here. Maybe I'll make this match the text. Maybe I should make the text the same color too. Let's do icon and color, and I'm going to do tomato as the color, and then we'll add the style up here. So I'll say style equals styles.icon, right? And let's go check out home there. So now we have a red icon. Okay, so there we've got the icons working. In the next video, we'll talk about how to add the icon to the tab bar. Okay, so it's a little trickier to add it down there, but it's a similar process. Okay, so thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice day, and I hope your projects turn out amazing.